Welcome back, everybody, to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host, Stan, and today I've got a 2v2 field battle and a custom map that I've made in the battle editor. Now, this isn't a scenario because the players are not kind of locked into pre-selected armies, but there's a small process that you basically do. You just have to basically move a couple files to move what you create as a scenario in as a playable custom map. I'll make a video about that probably soon-ish, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be playing as the Orcs and Goblins, and my ally is going to be Spyfly123, playing as the Chaos Dwarves, and we are going to be up against two armies today. Over here, we have Tom Doof playing as Reikland, and his ally is going to be Warbane the Toughest, also known as Wah from Wah Gaming, and he's going to be playing as the Lizardmen. But let's go ahead and go over the army compositions, because the battle does start off pretty quick. But anyway, guys, Wah has a few units of Saurus Spears and Sauruses. He's also got a few units of Skink Cohorts, which are basically kind of like a Javelin unit for Skinks. He's got a bunch of Cold One Cavalry. I think he's bringing about 3 or 4 units of Cold One Cav. He's got some Temple Guard, a unit of... I'm sorry, guys. He's got 2 Temple Guard, and he's got a Temple Guard bodyguard somewhere around here. I'm not quite sure. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was one whole unit. That's silly of me. But he's got Temple Guard bodyguard, 2 Temple Guard. Over here, he's got a unit of Stegodons. He's got an engine of the Gods. He's got a few units of Skink Archers. Only 1 unit of Croxagores. Usually, you want to bring at least 2 or 3 because they're so cheap, and honestly, they're very, very good shock infantry for the Lizardmen. He's got a unit of Saurus Scar Veterans over here, and I think that is going to be his whole army. Over here for Spyfly's army, he's got about 4 units of Infernal Guard, about 2 units of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, 2 units of Goblin Spears to act as kind of just fodder infantry. Over here, he's got a couple units of Hobgoblin Wolf Riders and a unit of Oglakon Wolf Boys. He's got, I believe, 4 units of Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives, and then 2 units of Hell Cannon of Chaos. So he's bringing a little bit of a smaller army, but certainly packing a lot of elite troops. Over here for my army, I've got a few units of Orc Biggins. I think I'm bringing about 2 units of Orc Biggins in total. I've got a Dune Diver Catapult, a unit of Rock Larva, a unit of Goblins over here. I'm bringing a couple units of Black Orcs, a unit of Black Orc Destroyers. Over here, I've got a long line of Orc Error Boys and Savage Orc Error Boys. I've got some Orc Biggin Bodyguards. I've got 1 unit of Immortals. Over here, I've got a really large Cav Force. I've got several units of Savage Boar Boys, several units of Orc Boar Boys, a unit of Orc Boar Biggins, and I think that's going to be most of my Cav is going to be centered around here. I do have my Bodyguard Biggin unit back there somewhere as well. Over here, Tom Doof has got a unit of Reiksguard Knights way over here for the rest of his army. He has some great swords. He's bringing a bit of artillery. He's got a Hellblaster Volley Gun, a unit of Empire Great Cannon, and I believe he's got a Hellstrom Rocket Battery, oh my god, guys, Rocket Battery, a Hellstrom Rocket Battery in the back. He's got some Empire Halberdiers. He's actually bringing a lot of Halberdiers and a lot of Spearmen. He's got a unit of Altdorf Company of Honor as well. Some Empire Spearmen, like I said earlier. And then in the back, he's got some Swordsmen, which are really a good unit. He's got some Griffins, which are flying around. And then he's also got a unit of Demigriff Knights. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go over where the engagement is about to start with my Boar Boys and Tom Doof's Knights. And I'm going to charge up my Orc Boar Boys over here. I don't think Tom Doof has his micro over on his Knights at this moment. I think he does notice right before I get my Boars in that I am charging in a bunch of my cavalry, or Boar Cavalry, whatever you want to call it. Now, there is a height difference between the Boars and the Knights, so Knights usually do very, very well in melee against them, but he's going to get on his Reiksguard Knights right here. He's going to pull them out, and he's going to go back in with a cycle charge. I think he's going to get the charge bonus off there. I'm really not sure. Some of them are going to pull their lances back up before they actually make contact with some of my Boars, but I'm going to start throwing in some of these Javelins from my Savage Boar Boys. I'm going to be moving some more of my Savage Boar Boys over here. Looks like they're going to be chucking their Javelins over here at the Demigriff Knights. The Demigriffs are going to be moving in, though, and this is going to be a really rough engagement for my Savage Boar Boys. I don't want to leave them engaged in combat for too long. I want to leave them on that fire at will and kind of run them around as much as I can and get them mobile. But over here, we can see Tom Doof's Knights are really just chewing through my Boar Boys. I think I've maybe killed 10 of his Knights in total, but my Boars are just having a really hard time killing his knights. Now my Orc Boar Biggins might be a little bit better at it. I think they're a little bit taller. They do have 2 HP, and they can be really, really nasty in an engagement, and they're gonna kind of meander around. They're not real climactic there, guys. Here we go, guys. We see the Reichsguard Knights getting kind of gangbanged by some of these Boar Boys and these Savage Boar Boys, but it's just a single unit of Reichsguard Knights, so it's really holding well against my Boars. I'm going to be moving my Savage Boar Boys up and try to get a rear charge into these Demigryph Knights, but it's not going to really happen. They are going to kind of pull away, and the Griffins are going to get engaged here. And now, this is just going to be kind of a death sentence for all my cavalry. I've got so much cav. I really out-cav Tom Doof at this point, so I don't want to lose my cavalry too much. Let's go take a look at what's kind of going on over here with Spyfly's engagement and Werbane's engagement, or Waz engagement, as whichever you want to call him. But over here, looks like he's moving his Stegodons up. Okay, he might be getting his Engine of the Gods poised to fire. Let's see if he gets any good shots up here against the Chaos Dwarves. There we go. We got one shot coming in from that Engine of the Gods. It is going to miss, though, and it looks like Spyfly is going to return in kind with a Hell Blast, or Hell Cannon shot. It's going to miss. His Infernal Guard are kind of a funny angle, but they are going to take some casualties right there from that Engine of the God shot. Look at the range. Look how far away he is. He's actually able to fire before his next shot hits. Yeah, it's a tough unit, guys. It's a good unit, though. It's expensive. It definitely can be taken out by gunfire and other similar projectiles like that. But it does look like Spyfly is in range. I'm not sure what he's firing at, if he's firing at the Stegodons or not. He wants to be careful, or Wah wants to be careful with those Stegodons. He doesn't want to let them take too much musket fire early on. Doesn't look like these are firing, however. If we get down over here, looks like the Engine of the Gods might actually be friendly firing just a little bit. Oh, a nice Hell Cannon shot coming in, just devastating that Skink Cohort unit right there. It's a really uncomfortably close shot to the Engine of the Gods. Let's see what's going on over here, because I believe I'm trying to disengage with some of my boars. I am riding them back around. I wasn't able to push through this little area over here and flank Tom like I wanted to. His spearmen are going to be just close enough to pull some of my boars into melee. That is going to kind of force me to kind of reallocate some of my micro over here and move these guys out of this engagement. I really got caught right there between the mountain. I think I may have just been able to move back behind here like I am some of my other boar units, my Savage Boar units over here. But here come my Savage Boar Boys. They are wavering. I need to be really careful because I can rout them if I charge them in too early. I'm going to move them in, however, over here against these great swords. If they don't rout, I'd be really... Yeah, they're actually not routing. They're gaining morale. That shocks me. It might be because of the Orc Boar... I'm sorry, guys. The Orc Big and Bodyguard is moving in over here, and they do help bolster morale of other units. And I'm going to kind of chase away some of that Hellstorm Rocket Battery, and I'm going to get a kind of a nice rear charge over here with some of my other Orc Boar Biggins. Orc Boar Biggins are actually extremely effective against infantry units. They do have a really high mass. They're a little slower than other cav, but they can do quite a lot of damage on the charge. I do have a couple of my Savage Boar Boys engaged against the Hellstorm Rocket Battery. I want to do as much damage to this unit as I can, and I think actually I may have not noticed that was the Hellstorm unit over there. I'm going to lose my Boar Boys over here, and that is going to be pretty unfortunate for me. I'm going to get a nice charge, however, with these Orc Boar Boys and these Savage Boar Boys coming in as well, hitting some of these great swords. Now, I am hitting some units that are a little more kind of glass cannon, like these great swords without shields, kind of trying to hit some of these lighter infantry and some of these spearmen, although this is not a great engagement for my cavalry. I did trade pretty favorably, I think, in that Empire Spearman unit over there. Let's take a look at what is going on over here. Looks like Tom Doof is getting in and to the back of my Orc Archer line. I'm trying to fire in, do a bunch of damage over here to the Cold One Knights, or I'm sorry guys, Cold One Cavalry that Werbane or Wah has moved up, but they are taking arrow fire after arrow fire, and here come just kind of a massive line of Orc Biggins coming in. They're going to do quite a bit of damage here, and he's going to lose a lot of his cavalry. I don't think he really got a lot of use out of them. He did lose quite a few. I think they kind of helped maybe distract some of my line from Tom Doof's line, but Tom is moving in now, and he's got his cannon poised in a really good position. He's got some warrior priests in the back. So he's in a position to do a lot of damage over here. My units over here are actually routing. This might be due to just how much how many units are over here that I'm having to deal with. The Orc Biggins don't have the best morale. Orcs probably, you know, one of their weakest features as a faction is their low morale. They are pretty durable, though. But I am going to lose my Biggins over there. They're fighting to the death, which is good because they're at least going to get in the way of the Lizardmen and keep them from just absolutely ravaging my artillery units. I really don't have really any opportunities left to use them. Looks like I'm going to get a few shots off. However, I'm going to kill some Lizardmen there. Going to kill a really good line of Lizardmen. I'm actually going to kill quite a few of Spyfly's Infernal Guard as well. That's actually pretty rough. It does look like some of the Lizardmen are going to get back up, however, not too many, and it looks like Wah is going to charge his Kroxigors in over here. Now, Wah's in a really rough position here. He is getting really choke-pointed over here. He's got, Spyfly's got his Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives up here. Does look like Wah is getting his Stegodons involved. His Stegodons can do a lot of damage to these Infernal Guard, even though they are high-armored units. Look at that. They're just moving through. Looks like he may have actually gotten maybe some friendly fire too on his own Infernal Guard. I don't think that was the engine of the gods firing in. Oh, it looks like I'm getting some shots with my Doom Diver catapults into the backs of these Lizardmen and these Kroxigors. I don't think that's going to last very long, though. Yeah, the Skink Cohort are going to move in and finish off my Doom Diver catapult unit. That's going to be pretty much it for them. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of use out of my artillery. Looks like the engine of the gods is kind of sitting idle, and these Stegodons are moving around really freely in the back lines. Looks like he's trying to crush Spyfly's line over here. He's going to try and break through and move his lizards through. He might want to move his Kroxigors over because the Hell Cannon are getting pretty close, although I don't know if he wants to engage on this flat land right here because he'd be just really in direct fire of those Infernal Guard and Gunpowder to shred through high HP units pretty quick. Let's move his Engine of the Gods around. Hopefully he's going to get some good shots in here. If he moves the Engine of the Gods down maybe around here, maybe even all the way over here, he'd be out of range of a lot of the Chaos Dwarf units, and he might be able to get some really nice arcing shots in here. It does look like he's about to break through, though. I think Spyfly is trying to move up some more units, though, to kind of reinforce that choke point. Wah has got to get past that choke point, though, if he wants to do a lot of damage to Tom Doof. I'm sorry, guys, not to Tom Doof, to Spyfly. Over here in my engagement, in Tom Doof engagement, I have my Black Orc Destroyers over here. They're doing a little bit of damage against these Empire Swordsmen. It looks like I might have killed some over here. I may have been getting sandwiched and have used some of my Orc Archers to kind of relieve the pressure. And they are going to be moving around. I got my Savage Orc Arrow Boys in a really good position, actually, to shoot into these Empire Halberdiers. I think that's going to be what I'm going to be doing right here. Just really close, point-blank shots into them. I'm going to be chewing through them. I don't have a lot of units over here. I've got some Black Orcs. I think I have my Immortals in here as well. They do have multiple HP. Actually, I'm not sure if my Immortals are engaged over here. They might be engaged way over here. I think that's where they are. Yeah, I'm starting to lose them. I think I've only got one or two. Yeah, I've got 5 Immortals left, actually. That's not terrible, but against all these Halberd units, it's going to be bad. I need to really start laying down some suppressive fire with my Arrow Boys. Tom Doof is going to be moving in some of his Empire Halberdiers and his Demigryph Knights. Here comes a really good charge. They're going to move in and do a bunch of damage to my Orc Arrow Boys. I'm going to kind of lose a bunch in my flank right there. It looks like a shot coming in from the from the Empire Great Cannon is going to take out a lot of my Orc Arrow Boys. I don't think he's going to lose any Demi. Actually, yeah, he's going to lose one Demi there. I think that may have actually been to friendly fire. My Black Orcs are going to be chasing off some of these Empire Halberdiers. I don't think they're routing, but I am going to be chasing after them. I think they're going to start coming after my Orc Arrow Boys. I have hidden them in the trees a little bit. I don't think they were necessarily hidden from Tom, but they may have just, you know, been obstructed by the trees. When you kind of zoom out, you can't really see them that well. Well, we got the Empire Spearmen over here and the Warrior Priests of Sigmar. I've been mispronouncing units' names all day, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a week for me, so I do have my Warrior Priests in here with these. I'm sorry, guys. Tom Doof's Warrior Priests are in here fighting against my Orc Big Guns. He has his Empire Halberdiers engaged with him. That is going to help kind of stun lock some of the units that they do have targeted. Let's take a look at over here with Spyfly's engagement and Warbane and Toughest engagement, or Wah's engagement. He does have a lot of units in reserve, but I think this is a bad idea. I think he needs to push. He needs to just move his units in there as quickly as he can. And just move through this line, because look at this. Spyfly has engaged, or has established a extremely difficult position for Wah to push through. He's got every advantage he really needs. Here comes a Hell Cannon shot. It's going to be relatively close to that Engine of the Gods. I don't think the Engine of the Gods can take a hell cannon shot. That is even closer. He is really just on the cusp. I really think he needs to move down here, get some good arcing shots into this line. He could obliterate Spyfly's line in a few shots. Those piercing shots from those Engine of the Gods, or that Engine of the God unit, can do so much damage to high armored targets. But we got the goblins in here. Looks like those are actually my goblins. They're helping out Spyfly just a little bit, but really not enough. They're wavering. They're probably going to rout pretty soon. The Kroxigors are in here, and here come the Stegodons for round 2, and they're going to be moving in. Looks like they're probably going to have no issue whatsoever with these Hobgoblins. They're going to move through them, but as soon as they get engaged against these Infernal Guard, they're going to have a little bit of a trouble, and if they get some rear shots or get just peppered with these Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives, they could really start losing numbers. Looks like some of these Skink cohorts are going to be routing in, and a good shot coming in from the Engine of the Gods. But you see what I mean, guys? This piercing damage it'd be so just multiplied if you move down here and fire down the line. It would really turn this advantageous spot that Spyfly has against him, and Spyfly may even need to retreat, allowing him to move his Lizardmen in. Also, alternatively, he might have been able to move his cav maybe up around. Spyfly was deployed over here defending this hill, but as he pulled back, he might have been able to move back and maybe catch some of his cavalry. Over here, Tom Doof and I are still fighting to the last. It looks like I'm going to be chasing off some of Waz, Saurus Scar Veteran. Looks like some of these Cold One cav are still engaged. I do have my Orc Arrow Boys. They are going to be firing at I think no, they're going to be firing at the Saurus Scar Veterans. I thought they were going to fire at point blank. I think some of the shots probably did hit some of those Cold One cavalry as well. But I just got a lot of units left over. I don't know what Tom really has left. It looks like he's got some of his Empire Great Cannon over here. I think he's got some routing units that may potentially come back. I do have all of my archers, though, which is going to be kind of my trump card. Here come the Warrior Priests of Sigmar. Looks like these Empire Halberdiers are routing, and it's looking really good for me, this battle, or in this fight right now. Looks like way over here, he does have a really tight formation of Spearmen, and, I'm sorry, guys, of Swordsmen and Halberdiers. They are not really doing that good on morale, so we'll see what ends up happening with them. The Warrior Priests of Sigmar are moving in. Looks like they're going to be doing a bit of damage against my my Black Orc Destroyers, and if there's just a little bit of cav left on the field, this could turn the game in Tom Doof's favor. The Saurus Scar Veteran, having 2 HP and the higher mass, they have a lot of potential to do damage to my Black Orc Destroyers. Looks like I've got some Black Orcs and Orc Arrow Boys, but everybody's getting tired, and as soon as you get to the kind of that point in the game with Orcs, things really start going south. I'm kind of bunching up over here, and the fact that Tom Doof does have a working cannon means I could get hit pretty hard if I'm not careful. I just have so many Orcs left. A mass rout could be possible, but we'll see. I'm moving my Orcs in. These Warrior Priests of Sigmar are going to get flanked. That's going to be good for me. I'm going to do a bit of damage to them. Come in, start fighting against them, and I've just got my multiple HP units left, my Black Orcs left. It's really looking bad for Tom, but it does look like he's going to try and get on these this kind of real tight mass of Empire units over here. Looks like he's going to be moving them over here as well. I think I'm going to be moving my Orc Arrow Boys around. Might be getting some good shots into these Empire units. Let's take a look and see what's going on over here. Looks like Wah is still trying to push with his Engine of the Gods. Both Stegodons have been lost at this point. Wah is having a hard time pushing through this singular choke point. It's just really hard watching him get shot up like this. There are so many of these Infernal Guard. I really don't even think they're getting all their shots off. I think this kind of ledge is preventing them from doing so, but kind of as I move my camera around, I'm really not sure, because I kind of arc over as you go down, and it means, I don't know if that means that specifically they're able to shoot through that, or if they've got to kind of perch over like those few are just hitting a few of those. But he's losing a lot of Skink Archers per shot. 2 really close shots with the Hell Cannon coming in. I don't think that's going to be too fruitious. I don't think the Hell Cannons have really done anything this game. Maybe a few shots on some Skink cohorts, but they've really not done anything too game-changing. I think he dumped about 6,000 gold into both of those units. Back over here, we see the Saurus Scar Veteran have actually done a lot of work against my Black Orc Destroyers. I'm not sure if he was cycle charging them or just left them engaged in melee, and these Warrior Priests of Sigmar were able to kind of hit them in the back, but a lot of these Savage Orc Arrow Boys are going to be fighting in melee against them. As you guys probably know, Orc Archers are not the best in melee. They're definitely not as bad as some of like handgunner units that the Empire has to field, some of the kind of weaker, more specialized units. Let's look over here. Let's see if Tom Doof is going to get some shots off with his cannon. Does not look like he is. He's going to actually charge out with his Empire Great Cannon and meet me on the field. He's not going to let me get that charge bonus on him. He's actually going to be starting to chew through my orcs. I do have 60 of these orc arrow boys, so that's going to be hard for him to fight with a cannon crew. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off, but just from the fact that he's got all this infantry left, all these swordsmen coming in, and these halberdiers, this could be the game changer that he needs. Looks like I've got my immortals in here. Only one immortal left. My last immortal looks like Grimgor. He's going to be just chopping through some of these swordsmen. Empire swordsmen are actually really good. I don't know if they're going to get rebalanced at all, but the shield value really makes them effective. They can avoid getting hit. They got the shield block chance. They can take arrows fairly effectively, and they're pretty cheap. So if you bring 4 of them, you'll be pretty okay in terms of infantry. They're certainly not the best, but they are definitely not the worst. But this is all I really got, guys. A few arrow boys, which are starting to shake. Looks like I got my Black Orcs. They do help bolster morale, but they're just, with 2 left, I don't think they do very much. I do have my Immortals, which I think also help bolster morale, but it's not going to be very good against these Saurus Scar veterans. Over here, it looks like Wah has moved his Engine of the Gods in, and in melee, it looks like he's going to be charging around. This actually might be what he needs in here. He can do a lot of damage with the Engine of the Gods. It's certainly not just a ranged artillery unit. You can get it in there in melee. It can do a lot of damage, but I think he's actually going to throw in the towel right now. I just don't think he felt like, with what he had left, he could probably beat Spyfly. He only had a few Kroxigors left, a few Temple Guard Bodyguard, but he did have that Engine of the Gods, and that could have done so much damage. But he is going to rout off the field. Let's go take a look at my engagement. He had all these Saurus Scar veteran over here too, which might have actually been able to help Tom Doof out in this engagement, but my Savage Orc Air Boys are actually routing. I think I lost the last of my Immortals and my Black Orcs over here, and that's kind of going to be it for my army, guys. I have a few Orc Arrow Boys that I'm going to be charging in, but I don't really have anything. I think I finished off his cannon crew. I did lose a few of them, though. Looks like I traded pretty evenly with Tom Doof's Empire Great Cannon crew. But in come my Orc Arrow Boys, and have just a few left over here as well. And I think Tom is just going to make a dash for Spyfly at this point. I don't think he's going to be successful in beating Spyfly, but let's go ahead and just kind of speed this battle up just a little bit, because we're just going to have to wait for Tom to come in and fight Spyfly's units. It does look like my Orcs are routing. I think maybe if I had engaged the rest of my Orcs in against Tom's army, I don't know if I would have been able to pull it off. Those Warrior Priests are extremely strong. Oh my god, look at that. Spyfly's going to whiff his own units right there. He's going to take out a bunch of those Infernal Guard. My Savage Orc Arrow Boys are going to rout through over here. It does look like the Empire Halberdiers are routing, and it looks like these Warrior Priests of Sigmar are going to be engaged against the Infernal Guard, but they are just not going to do that well. Infernal Guard have been toned down significantly, guys. They are only 1 HP now. Thank goodness they no longer are easily the best defensive infantry in the game. I mean, they are very good, guys. Don't get me wrong. They probably are up there on the top tier defensive infantry, but they're just not unanimously just the best like they pretty much were in 1.01. But I think Tom is just about to rout in just a minute. Looks like Spyfly is still taking some for fun shots at some of those routing halberdiers. Go ahead and 2-time speed this. Tom is going to admit defeat, and that should be the game. So there you go, guys. That was the game. Excuse me. Let's take a look at the kills. I got quite a few kills with some of my cavalry units, actually. I think 149 with my Orc Biggins Bodyguards, pretty good. 122 with my Savage Orc Arrow Boys, 110 with my Arrow Boys, and 154 with my other Arrow Boy units. Actually really good. My archers really performed well this game. I think that's kind of what helped me significantly against Tom's maybe lighter infantry and his state troops. Black Orc Destroyers getting 198 kills. That's a lot. I'm really not sure what they were killing, if it may have just been some of those weaker state troops or some of Wah's cavalry. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this game. I'm going to be continuing to work on some of these custom maps. This map may end up being kind of a Dogs of War scenario, but we'll see. We'll see how things work out, guys. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. And again, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time.